It's a series that keeps on delivering, and it's going to be delivering us a map 3 as YFP are able to close out Icebox. A series that at no point have I ever really known which way things were going to go, because a good chunk of this game, this was really close. But in the end, Van, YFP are finally able to start stringing together those rounds and close it out.
Yeah, and I think when Baby Boy was talking about that 1v4 that Avery was able to win, I don't think it was only on that. There was a lot of these rounds in the first half, too, that you had these clutches on 1v2s that allowed here Oomphies to keep the game rather close. But once we got on the attack side, yes, the 1v4 happened and they won, and they were starting to maybe scale away from it for a victory. I felt there was a little bit now complacency on the side of Oomphies instead of what YFP did on the attack side of Ascent. What I mean by that is in these post-plant scenarios, you had Avery just trying to push through their own smoke, trying to fight back towards the screens, giving their lives away at that position and not really allowing Oomphies to really play a good post-plant towards the end with these plants towards the A site. And there's also that round where they went for that plant, oddly enough, towards the back of or the middle of 410 and the site, and you can't really play around the Hunter's Fury or any sprays behind that. You had to play for util on a 2 versus 4 when the opponents still have a wingman. There's a little bit of miscommunication there to where, unfortunately, you let that slip and you're not able to close this in a series of 2. So now YFP have a great chance to close it back and keep the rankings the way it should be, according to Athena and Baby Bay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm vouching for YFP just for the rankings. Literally, that's it. No bias here. But I really agree with you. I feel like for the first part, we were really watching both these teams ironically play really similar, where both sides, it was like a lot of retaking on A, a lot of these post plants for both teams, a lot of retakes towards A. And the biggest thing we touched up on for both these teams before the game even started is how brawly this map is going to be. And towards that B site, it felt like neither team was able to actually properly scale up and get the space that they needed. This could be because of the comp. They don't have that solid sage wall to kind of delay and hold it off. But because both comps on their defense side had so much delay, Viper mollies, Gecko mollies, you have flashes, ISO shield to just burst through. There's so much delay that they could not be able to get onto the site super quick, and everyone was just kind of fighting, doing a free-for-all. So that is kind of what we expected coming into this. I do think it's still looking a little bit scary for YFP. I feel like this isn't the YFP that we're used to watching. Or at least it's not the YFP that we've seen play against Shopify or FlyQuest. And I feel like a lot of that might be down to also the fact that they don't have that many VODs on Oomphies to look at, to kind of understand how they play. And they're trying to adapt on the fly, and it's just not working out the best for them.
And I also think it was very normal that this is going to cater into a fight that was going to be very brawly when you're looking at the composition nature of both of those teams, where you don't have an agent that's going to split the site or create some space with the dashes, right? So it was a lot of like delays with util on one end on the defense, wait for the wall to come down, and then hopefully the trades are going to be perfect. So really, you had to bring those fundamentals through. It looked like it was going to be in favor of YFP for most of these fights until these clutches happened. So again, it may look scary for YFP, as Athena was mentioned before, but at least when you saw how they were trading off each other in these brawls, there's an opportunity there to still carry that over to Blind.
I mean, when you're talking about that, things looking okay for YFP, and then all of a sudden these clutches coming out from Oomphies, there's the one round you saw a little bit of in the highlight package, but we want to go back over to Athena and talk about round 15, especially to kicking off with YFP and setup that they were getting for themselves.
I mean, this round was just in the bag for YFP. Yes, they were on a weird buy. Some players had Spectres, some had pistols, some had rifles. But look, Scary Shark is all the way in spawn. They know that this team now, Oomphies, is stuck towards that B side. They know this is 100% going to be a full B execute. No one is able to lurk. No one is able to fake. And now all these players get onto the site. Util is thrown. But again, all these fights going the way of YFP, and the whole time we're thinking, okay, this is YFP's round, this is going to go their way. We delayed for a lot of time, the plant goes down, doesn't matter because we're killing everyone, and then Avery just comes in with this crazy 3K and then clutching it out with a 4K, literally 1v4ing to turn that round around. And so that's what I mean when I'm talking about YFP being a little bit sloppy, because that is a 4v1 situation that should not have happened. No one was able to trade. No one was able to kind of figure out the right positioning, the timing, and just play it cool. Everyone just kind of did this panic wide swing, and it just didn't work out for them. But they brought it back in the end, and I feel like right now they might have the momentum to kind of go forward into that third map and bring kind of what they actually have. In those last few rounds they showed that, but it's still just a little bit scary, and Oomphies is definitely keeping them on their toes.
100%. I mean, Oomphies is keeping them honest and pushing them. So for YFP, even if it was scary, because there was a couple of 1v2s, there was that Avery clutch, YFP at the end, they were able to take that momentum and go on forward. And talking about YFP and the players that were able to make a difference too, talking a little bit more about Scary Shark. Still love the name. I have on it every single time. But when we start seeing YFP start to pull ahead just a little bit more here, Vans, we got to talk about Scary Shark.
100%. And once again, it's a Scary Shark being that filler for so many of these teams, rather. And I think we were mentioning while we were watching this game here, Athena, where Scary Shark was also part of that crew that got picked up by EG last second as well to go into GCC. So to continue with that trend and that joke around of, oh, look, maybe we could get signed by EG if we could go deep. Well, Scary Shark's going to be part of that as well and could maybe have that repeat there. But all seriousness aside, or all joking aside, rather, and more serious talk, Scary Shark's continuing to be very good on different roles, not only on a Viper, but this time on a controller, and then also now on a KO.
I mean, Scary Shark doing pretty okay, I would say, and YFP being able to take the momentum and close out the second map. We'll have to see if they can continue that on to the third, for what's going to be going down on Bind. And when I look at Bind and the recent history of both of these teams on this map, I think it starts to get really dire for Oomphies. It looks like a series more and more that if it wasn't closed out into Athena, it starts to get really, really dangerous. YFP, they've played it not in Game Changers yet. They did play it in the Neon Dream Invitational, taking a win up against FlyQuest Red, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I feel like when you're winning against one of the top two teams in this scenario, FlyQuest or Shopify, you're definitely making a statement. And Bind, by far, is one of those maps that's super puggy, super coordinated because of how the TPs in the showers and the long B is going to be, that it's really, really hard to kind of come up with a game plan on the fly and make these micro decisions that are going to win you the round. Even though it's the most accessible map to be able to make those quick rotations, those super fast ideas of rotating to a different site, having those really quick mid-round plays where you set up traps, it's still one of those maps where you have to have so much coordination as well as the confidence to just kind of push out past those choke points and understand what the other team's going to do.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Yoru.
Yoru who?
You're in for a good treat here for this third map on Bind, because yes, there is not too much history going on for both these teams on the map like Bind, but on Oomphies, actually there is. There's a lot of different compositions that they come out with, so they could come out with another surprise, or they could have a different their choice of a choosing in the litter to fight against YFP's comp. Where YFP, yes, outside of the Neon Dream Invitational, they haven't played since they played under Solstice, where they actually were playing a double duelist as well with a Raze and a Yoru. So I wouldn't be surprised if Marceline's gonna pull out this Yoru agent as well on this third map, and it's gonna be a fun time and another brawly match.
Just hear me out. I feel like Yoru could be good, but also could be kind of detrimental, because we saw Marceline on the Yoru during that Ascent game, and I feel like the thing that the team really struggled with was successfully taking space and utilizing the Yoru flashes. The ult was used in a lot of good ways, getting a lot of that information, and the clones were really good too, but it's just so hard to capitalize off that Yoru util when your team just doesn't have that much movement, that much space. So with a double duelist comp, I think YFP could definitely play the way that we've seen them play, the way that we're accustomed to, the super aggressive style, not being too scared, getting the entries and just pushing out as a pack. But if we don't see that comp and we see the solo Yoru, I'm not really looking forward to that, I'm not gonna lie.
There should be a raise, if I'm not mistaken, if the Euro is going to come out. Definitely, I do agree with you. With the
We've been wrong multiple times about these comps, man.
Also true.
That is also true, but it's also because it's Game Changers and everybody's pulling out like new comps every single time, and it's great to see. I'm not harping on that. But I love that you're trying the new ideas. I mean, it is do or die. We talked about this, right? It's lower brackets. This is do or die. If you don't win GC, you're not going to Berlin for either of these two teams. So you have to surpass each other here. You have to play against other teams potentially on Shopify or FlyQuest on the other side. It's not going to be an easy road.
All right, well, we're talking about the Euro, thinking it's the Rays. We've been surprised so many times today. So let's just get to the agent select and see what our teams are locking in this little map 3 in. All right, so I guess you're
in for a treat.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
There you go.
No,
but at least
literally just no.
At least this time around, it's not Marceline that's playing their Euro. It's actually Corrupt. So this is something new as well for Corrupt, who's been playing more initiator roles, deadlocks as well. And now the latest addition to YFP is coming out for a duelist role. And I'm not against that, because Corrupt was kind of owning in terms of the fragging department under that deadlock on the first map of Ascent in this own series.
You know what I'm a little bit scared about, though, is Oomphies. Both these teams have had such solid defense sides, and Oomphies having the double controller as well as the Sky means that they're going to have just a little bit more information around the map on that defense side, and they have a lot more delay. Granted, they don't have the Yoru Flash, but they still have the Sky Dog for info, the Sky Flash, and they also have the Mollies from Brim, Viper, and the Nades from Raze. So it is a little bit scary based on what we've seen so far, but it's still going to be a pretty brawly map, I think.
Hey guys, knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
You're in.
You're in who?
Oh, I screwed up my own joke. All right, well, this is supposed to be it's Baby Bay and Doug from map number 3. Just take it away, guys.
Nah, she did that on purpose, bro. There's no way. She did that on purpose, no? Surely.
I don't know. I really hope so.
Surely, bro. Surely that was on purpose. Anyways.
Okay, right. Let's talk about Bind. The Yoru against the Rays. It's elimination on the line. All right, back to serious. Let's set the seriousness aside here for a moment. Because we're having a good time. Look, Dre, I need to get your thoughts on these. I need to get your thoughts on these comps. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. Vansily brings out the worst in me.
Ew, bro.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Okay, so I'm actually happy with what Oomphies are doing here, going back to the Cypher on Bind, on Panday specifically. I think she has a... Okay, by the way, everybody, we got hit with another tech pause. Go figure. We started one with... We started the day... Me and Doug started the day with the tech pause, and it's only, good that we end the day with a tech pause. Anyways, now I can get more about the comps, though. I'm happy that Oomphies are going back to the Cypher comp instead of what they ran, the double initiator. I feel like they looked a little bit lost in their loss against RF. And it also felt like when it came down to that map 3, they kind of ran out of steam. So it's something that we need to look out for here. Everybody needs to look out for. See if Oomphy still got that little oomph in him. Oh, God.
That was okay. That one was permissible, I guess. Keep going.
I'm not happy with
we'll
myself. I'm not happy with myself, but it had to be done.
Sierra has taken there's no competing with that. I don't know that Vans could outdo that. That's tough, man.
I don't think so.
That's real tough.
I don't think so. But from the side of YFP, I don't know how they make this comp work. I mean, they've ran double duelists so many times in the past. It's always been some iteration of Raze Yoru. I don't know how they really make the solo Omen work. I mean, I do, because I watch their VODs and etc. And a lot of it has to do with, disruption and playing still retakey styles. But it just on paper shouldn't work, Doug. It shouldn't be beating the standard or even close to standard compositions. But, stuff happens. So, I would say look out for how Panday uses her Cypher trips in accordance to where, you see Marceline and Corrupt hitting sites from. Or where that Yoru clone is being used mainly, where the nade is being used. Because that's the tricky situation that you have to deal with when you're running a Cypher against double duels on a map like this. It could be amazing for you. It could be great. It could really just completely shut it down, or you can get completely countered. So that's going to be the key details that we need to keep track of as this game goes on, whenever it happens, because obviously we're in a tech pause. But that's the key differences in composition right now. Is, you have one comp that has what could seem to be like infinite delay, and you have just one comp that's complete brute force. We don't care what's at the site. We don't care what smokes are there. We're throwing flashes. We're double satcheling. We're Yoru TPing. We're Yoru ulting. Whatever it may be to just break through.
It will be interesting, excuse me, to see how these comps match up. Again, we are in a bit of a tech pause. I have unfortunately not been informed as to what the reason for the pause is. There's a really good chance production was just really upset at what we have done with the show and the jokes, and so they're trying to find a way to get us off of the show as soon as possible. Fortunately for them, they have managed to succeed. We're going to throw it to a break. More bad jokes when we return. Don't go anywhere. Time is a lie. We're jumping right into the game. Don't worry about the timers. Don't worry about anything else that's going on. Worry about the fact that we're 10 seconds away from kicking off map 3 between YFP and Oomfies. We're going to talk about the Yoru Raze comp and how they're going to be able to execute that on attack. You imagine there's going to be a ton of firepower with it. And Dre, I think we're going to see that right off the bat.
Yeah, it's going to be a full exec. The Gecko Molly lineup to secure all of that showers already. And I don't know about you, but this song is going in.
You hear a song?
Oh, I had a stream open in the background. I was wondering what was going on. It's a fight in the back site, though. Marceline versus Carrie popping off.
Elaborate. Zoned out of U-Haul for now, but they managed to get the spike down. I don't really have a ton of util to play around it. It's just going to be the pistols now. As Carrie's the first to fall. Still a couple of members on the defense. They've got to be able to flush them out of a short. They can't just leave them there. And so far, so good. One found. A little bit of help on the other side. Finally connecting the defuse. Uh-oh, we can't see it. Ah, they stuck the defuse.
Oh my goodness. This is how we're starting off map 3 after the long tech pause.
Where did you come from?
It's going to be a ninja defuse from Panday. I mean, forget the trips. Forget everything else. All you need is a brim smoke and Panday to just stick the bomb. That was all she wrote. Avery did a great job there as well, taking out Scary Shark, who went honestly huge in the last map. So Oomfies off to a great start, considering the fact that it kind of felt like YFP were in full control of that site.
Deep flash confirming a little bit of presence. A smoke to suggest the hit towards A. Will they bite?
No rotations yet. Jump spot does see multiple members. Maybe now Aline and there to see Supercat. Ought to trot towards that B site of the map, but it's going to be a freeze once that Viper wall goes up the side of YFP. Trying to see if any mistake is going to be made. The side of Oomfies, maybe a rifle that they can secure. Oh my goodness.
A little bit of buckshot through the cage. That doesn't feel good.
That weapon. So scary.
It's quite silly, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what else is silly, Doug? The classic.
Bams?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. It's the classic right click is what I was going to say. Look at that.
Wait, they're making a run at this. Oh. Not able to deny the spike plant. Still 2 classics left. 1 weapon upgraded, and it is a Bucky. And there's a classic right click.
No way.
Panday in a 1v2. They're so weak, though. Oh, you don't check them.
Oh.
What a mess of a round.
Oh no, if you're Oomfies. No. The classics, they're just so annoying to deal with. Elaborate, I believe, got the 1v1 onto Avery, who was holding from pocket. That was very, very rough. It's so tough. I mean, that just feels terrible. You had everything going your way. You even had the entry. But the classic right click is just so RNG. Sometimes it just, I mean, out shotgun's a shotgun. There you go.
Yeah, sometimes it hits and other times it doesn't. Yeah.
Other times it literally doesn't shoot straight at all.
Yep.
And oftentimes when it doesn't shoot straight at all, you hit the headshot. How does that work?
I wish I knew.
All right, well, that Bucky is going to now be in the hands of Marceline. Be the forefront to taking all of this octagon space. And what YFP needs to do already is use this double controller to take a little bit more aggressive space in either hookah or B long, giving all of that real estate for free. Just makes that site execute just way too kind of oppressive to deal with. I mean, they're just creeping their way all the way up here, Doug. This is... Surely they can isolate that, okay, someone's probably in hookah. That's why the smoke comes out there.
It's a crispy shot onto Panday. These shares have been problematic all day. And so is Outlaw, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, the spike is planted B. You have Corrupt lurking in showers, who already has a Yoru ultimate online and available. This is going to be a tough mountain to climb. You are...
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna. I don't know that you're even going to be able to take a first step up that mountain given the situation that they're in.
Yeah, I mean, even forget this round. Just think about the next round. What's online and available? Yeah, Thrash
it's
online,
only getting worse. Yeah.
Yoru Ultimate. The economy right now for YFP, I mean, you have players that are almost going to be maxed. I mean, Marceline sitting at 6.3. Melia at 7.1K. This is such a strong start. A tactical throw, right? They threw their anti-eco on purpose so they could eco, and now they've set themselves up tactically,
right,
to just run away with this half. It was on purpose, right?
Those were some of the pro strats. Is that what you guys ran on phase?
Yeah. Yes. Get ecoed and then eco back. Actually, yes.
It's Corrupt using the dimensional drift to get all the way back out onto site, finding a little bit of info of what's waiting on the other side, and aggressively deciding to stay. And now you've got Dizzy, finally, the Bucky settling and getting the shot, and a little bit more to find.
It's all distraction. It's all an actual B hit, and Avery getting taken out along with Supercat opens up the entire site for free. And that's not even the Thrash invested, Doug. Oh my goodness, this is looking messy for Oomfies.
The truth is, the series has been best described as messy from beginning to end, and so I guess it's no surprise that's kind of what we're seeing here. Unfortunately for Oomfies, so it does seem to be at their cost, and so they will fall down another round. It seems like they're going to be able to carry these two rifles into the next. And it's YFP, they're going to have a massive money advantage. You mentioned it. They haven't even invested Thrash at this point. YFP are set up really nicely, Dre.
It's going to be so tough. But one step at a time, these are going to have to either win an eco of their own, or win their second eco of the game, of the map already, or just try to string along some of these, gun rounds when they can actually invest. It looks like they're trying to win this next round. I'm a little bit worried of. Are they just kind of throwing in the towel, like they're just over? Are they just... I feel like when teams get a little too desperate like this, it's not a good sign. Yeah, you're seeing light armor buys, not even full utility. No Viper utility at all, actually, from the side of carry. Maybe going to invest in a Judge in the next round. But either way, it's not a good look.
Smoke out towards Heaven. The Thrash to clear out U-Haul. All intentions set towards A. They deep smoke back towards Pipes, but they don't have anything to make sure that they haven't pushed past it.
That's all the firing squad they're going to have to deal with. But I say that as Oomfies just walks into a firing squad of their own. And it's just, the round's over once the spike gets planted within 5 seconds, Doug. It's just an obliteration.
I'm a little concerned, Dre, that this is going to devolve into what we saw in the first half of Ascent, but not because of it being map-sided, right? Like, there's a really good opportunity here and a really good possibility for YFP to run away with this thing.
Yeah.
They're not only do they have all this money stacked up, but, I mean, you look at their ults, a lot of them are about to be hitting at the same time. Yes, Oomfies is in a very similar position, but YFP has the economy to be able to take a blow or two and then still keep fighting.
Yeah. Over time, you're about to have Omen Ultimate online. You're going to have another Thrash. You're already close to another Yoru Ultimate. I think only 2 orbs off was that one. It's just, it's not looking good for Oomfies, and that's why they're pressing the matter. And that's exactly what they needed to do.
Catch one slipping. Do they realize? Very nicely considered. Wow. I can't believe that Corrupt tried fighting that and I didn't just TP out. Yeah, that was ambitious, to say the least. Well, it stays alive for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Carry getting spammed through. And already dead. Panday playing their position as best as they possibly can. 1 kill found, looking for the second. Yes, the spike's been planted, but they're much further down in numbers than they were before. That's a great response from Oomfies. It really is.
Yeah, playing as a team this time around. And yeah, there were still some mistakes being made on site. I believe it was Carry that swung on the left side of that cage a little bit too early. Honestly, forcing Panday to have to anchor that site alone. And she did such a good job doing it left and right, picking the right spot every single time. And yeah, although she falls down to to Corrupt, it still was enough. The job was done. at that very moment, securing the 2v1. And they needed that one. That little light dodgy buy ended up paying out dividends. They're back in this thing just like that.
But again, I do think the big difference here is for as much as Oomphies are back into it, YFP had set themselves up so well that they could afford to lose that and still be fighting, right? They aren't busted. They have 3 ults. Marceline's 1 away from having theirs. There's a lot of fight to this.
And right now, for
similar
the
look.
Oomphies,
Yeah.
I was gonna say they have to try to bait out some of the ultimates without using their own. And they did just that.
Supercat just spamming and connecting onto 1 and then popping the rocket to confirm the 2nd.
Wow.
And the 3rd. A massive round from Supercat.
1 enemy remaining.
Rocket responding in kind with the 2K. Make that 3 on the round from Marceline. And all of a sudden, Melia's left in a 1v2. If the dog clears them out. All right, they have it exactly. Oh, Melia almost played that so well. The fake TP to suggest that they were going to go cubby. The timing on the swing was perfect. Just not able to hit the shot.
There's just so much going on in such a short amount of time, Doug, and it's hard to get everything out. I mean, it was a fight for backside with the Yoru ultimate. Supercat just gets a spam, pops her own showstopper in this moment. The Gecko Dizzy somehow doesn't connect, even though we saw the splooge running out in multiple directions.
Right.
And then it comes down to Terra just taking a 1v1 against Melia, who had that paranoia still online and available. It's just chaos at all times with these 2 teams going at it. From start to finish on Ascent till now on Bind, it's really just been this crazy amount of slugfest.
They continue to stick around in this thing. 1 round between the 2.
That is a very, very weird ult. It like barely gets a little bit of Octagon. It doesn't get anything inside of actual hookah, but it allows you to play a little bit more back, towards the default of sight. I feel like this is something that can get abused though, especially with this Thrash coming through.
I think that's where a lot of that strength comes in. Is it's hard to kind of jump out of hookah. Marceline with a nice mobility there to try to get out, but Carrie catches them slipping. They had no idea that Carrie had slipped the net. 3 kills found. Hit still in play. Marceline's left in a 1v3.
Oh,
makes that 2. Oh, they almost lined up for her there.
Yeah, it was almost a lineup. And Carrie, good proactivity, keeping out of that Viper smoke that she dropped of her own, but it's a risky play. Imagine, the Octagon players are just waiting. Right place, right time for Carrie in that moment. I'm really worried for Oomphies with the fact that they keep letting Wingman plant the spike for free without breaking. That's a big win condition for YFP. They don't really have the opportunities to slow rounds down and kind of play slow. They have to be explosive and hope that spike gets planted with that first layer. And that's why they've been having a lot of strengths on their post plants and etc. Oomphies, if they can make that adaptation, it might make it really hard for YFP to get something going. And that's such a good omen smoke to dodge the Sky Flash. This is something that used to be done a lot more back in the day. It's cool to see it still being implemented in today's game of Valorant.
And that's an interesting way to go about it. If you're running a Viper, you can drop the orb and then well, I guess you can't really pick it back up anymore. Never mind, that's changed.
No, but to your point, yeah. I mean, it's that's why they're running the Omen. They have cool little set plays like that that can make the difference of you getting all the way up B long and not.
Panda's trying their best, playing back sight. But again, the site is riddled with members from the attack.
Spike planted.
Timing as well. It's perfect.
Yep.
Oh, no. So we got just right on time. Whoa!
Yeah, they did. You're absolutely right. Meanwhile, Carrie getting 2 on site. Avery turning around and realizing that there was danger behind him. Really nice comms. That could have been disaster.
Absolutely. It's Marceline and yet another 1v2 showstopper online. Saw what she did last time around with this one, but that nade is going to do a lot of damage.
Discipline, though. Popping the ult. Avery's calling the bluff. Gets it to half. That's not going to connect. The kill doesn't either. That's a big ult down there.
And another heroic play from Carey. That fadeaway shot, that second kill, was actually insane. Gotta see the replay on that, hopefully, or maybe they'll play it in the post, but that was ridiculous. Look at this. First, the second fadeaway on Amelia. I mean, you can't do anything about that.
No, not at all.
And then honestly, the patience in this 1v2 to tap the spike with the smoke on it, allowing Supercat to walk all the way up, securing that kill. I mean, even if Marceline converts that showstopper kill onto Supercat, still advantage the way of Avery.
Yeah, 1000%. That's still a really tough 1v1 that you have to convert on when somebody's that close to you and they know where you are.
So it will be a timeout for YFP around the same time as the last map, you know, around that 8-round mark, 9 this time around. And you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. Did Fees ever call a timeout on that icebox? I'm not sure if they did.
They haven't called a timeout all series.
That's the tough part about running a roster without a coach. Sometimes you get so invested into the actual game itself that you forget, we have, you know, something that we can take to chill out and, you know, think about what we really want to do, what our approach should be, or an adaptation we should make.
We'll see what the adaptations are on the side of YFP here, too, as they're the ones who called the timeout.
Yeah, just go back A.
I mean,
just go back A.
Well, and you had they had so many clear protocols at the very beginning of how they want to roll up through taking showers and stuff like that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yoru phone taking showers with the molly. So valuable, honestly. But this time around, Supercat's ahead of it. Both members were anchoring that, and it's because of these trips on short that was able to happen.
And a falling the site. For the most part, they don't have any shower control, though, and that's why you see Elaborate starting to flank around. They have to play their cards so quietly, though. You don't want to give your position away. You almost have to wait for the wall to go down for you to make your move, and that's exactly what Elaborate has done. Will there be enough discipline to clear the right side, though? One kill found. Supercat now realizing where the rest of the firepower is coming from. That's Elaborate. Melia trying to turn around and deal with every single corner around, and cannot erase. We raise 1v1 further round. Nade's going to push Marceline off for a little bit. No utility left for the attack inside raise. Supercat still with so much to do. Has to tap, has to go, has to take the fight. And it's just a bait at the beginning, but really nicely handled by Marceline. Gorgeous play.
Yeah, this time around, securing the 1v1, the jump spot off of the box, just absolutely finessing in the head-to-head raise duel. But it was this reflank from Elaborate that was honestly the game changer there. Yeah, she gets traded out, but you can clearly see that players were not aware of that. And why should you be? You know, the spike's already been planted. The clock has already been ticking down on that spike timer.
Come on, little homies. Let's get it.
Tough.
You see the adjustment on the side of Oomfies towards A. Trips, camera, and 3 here. Oftentimes, you'll play a little bit softer on the site where you have some of the Cypher utility to kind of help cover up for that. But they're really concerned about what could be going on A. And honestly, they're right. The Thrash is going to be the first through. Hande's going to get tagged by it. Staying alive at least for a little bit. The flash on the other side of smoke. Very nicely done. But now you might get cooked. Forced to swing and fight back sight. And Corrupt's traded out. The spike gets out too.
Oh, there was still a lurk from Scary Shark with Terror. Ahead of the game. Takes her out. It was a free B site though. Nobody was here to make it in time. Melia is going to have to finesse around her own smokes right now. Oh, I think a shoulder was seen maybe by Terror.
Elaborate's really far off here. That's a really tough fight to win, man. As soon as they get smoked off hookah, you're just kind of left alone.
At 2v4, makes it near impossible, especially with the spacing of these in this exact moment. But the spam does connect. Wait a second.
Elaborate doesn't have money here, yeah.
Oh.
I don't. So you enter the last round of the half with a broken buy.
5 rounds though on the attacking side. It's pretty decent, all things considered. I mean, you're only working with limited utility on this attack. I guess it could be a bigger thorn going on that defensive side, going into next half, because you don't have as much rechargeables to keep delaying. But all things considered, the way that Melia has been playing with this paranoia has been the most impressive thing that I've seen on this attacking side. She's really holding it for contact in multiple different areas, and it's gotten value, hitting 2-3 players at a time.
Yeah, she's been very selective with it, and it's been, you're right, it's been perfect almost every time. You imagine Marceline's going to want to satchel out from this. With the Yoru getting a little bit of info, a crunch towards U-Haul. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Any info found off the Roomba, they're traded though. And a Bucky has slipped the net.
Such a good spot to be with the Bucky here. The timing couldn't be more perfect. I say that. What? As Super Cat just absolutely obliterates Marceline and Carry obliterates Elaborate.
That should not have worked.
Oh my goodness.
The Dizzy out, the Seekers are going to be pushing through along with the Thrash, but all attention towards B. With the spike planted, are they going to try to swing and fight back sight? Take a close side. Scary Shark's position here. Ooh, that's dangerous. Second one coming through. Now they're going to be trying to funnel in from Hookah and from Spawn. 2 found already. Make that 3. How have they kept him back? It falls into a 1v1, and Avery saves the day again.
The spray control from Avery in that exact moment, that last kill, that was insane. It's so hard to do that when the weapons reset like that. She just got done tapping another player in mid-sight or something. That means the recoil is going to go miles ahead.
Yeah.
To be able to settle that, that takes an immense amount of mechanical skill. Look at the, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. You have to pull down so hard in order to achieve those shots.
11-8 for Avery after that massive round to get Oomfies back into the lead. And again, the emotional roller coaster of this series continues.
It felt like YFP were just going to run away with it. And then every single time that happens, there's always a comeback. And it's been for both teams this entire series. It's been this never-ending back and forth. But it's got to end here. Someone's got to come out on top. Someone is going to be eliminated.
I love that nade up close.
Yeah. No trip's broken, but the defensive setup has been broken.
Yeah, look at them. I mean, they're all really kind of torn apart here.
A lot of movement back and forth. These B anchors now slipping back into sight. Nora does get contact on the Panday. Little tit for tat right there, but still the defense so unsure of where the sight is going to come through. This should paint a clear picture.
The trip finally cleared out, getting contact on one, and you're right, between the smokes and that trip, they're going to know exactly where they're headed. The nade was just a second late. Does a considerable amount of damage. I mean, Terror down to 8 HP. And again, Elaborate on the flank. Super Cat dead, and now they realize there's a threat on the other side. Melia with a really nice paranoia to buy a little bit more time, but now Elaborate being swung, being overwhelmed, and being dealt with. What a shot out from Marceline as she gets a second. Tries to get a third and connects. What a round from YFP.
Yeah, their retakes are too good, Doug. And also, Elaborate on this map is so good at finding those openings, taking the 1v1s just like this against Super Cat. Yeah, she gets caught out, but it was Marceline with that satchel that actually hit 2 members, eliminating the double swing from U-Haul. That was very, very sick. Marceline's now sitting at 17-8. Investing into a Vandal on this anti-eco. And 2 Outlaws also bought. 1 B long, 1 showers. Just kind of making the game a little bit simple for themselves.
Interesting trip. The first one into U-Haul didn't get tagged by the dog. It should have gotten a little bit of info off of the second contact. And now they know, yeah, they're all huddled up. And U-Haul off of the flash very nicely handled by Elaborate. Ultimately dealt with from Marceline's position. Again, gorgeous. Losing count of how many kills they have right now.
It's got to be 20 up, but Carey had the perfect flank.
They have a shot at this thing. Scary Shark with an outlaw and then a judge. And Scary Shark is so far away.
what point do you start worrying about this flank? It's going to be a battle of this camera and the timing that Scary Shark can try to make.
Yeah, but there's nothing to suggest that the flank is coming, so I don't know that there's anything to make him look back. Melia's now dead.
Surely we get on cam. Oh, no.
I heard it toggle just then. Scary Shark probably did too, and now having to accelerate a little bit. Almost hits the shot. Now getting spammed through, switching over to the Ghost. No challenge from Heaven. Finally connecting now, but realizing there are just way too many things to deal with. The thrifty round for Oomfies.
What a great flank from Carry. Band-Aid to take all that space in deep CT as well. I mean, in eco rounds, it's never going to be pretty. But this went way more than ideal, all things considered. You know, Marceline playing in showers at the start, going back site, killing 2 players for free. The spike being included in one of those.
This is a nice spot. This goes here.
Carry just settling the shots on both those members. It could be so hard at times with that Sheriff to connect on both. Usually you get the first and then the second, third shot don't really make their mark.
Mm-hmm. You get a little messy, yeah. It was nicely handled there, though.
So far,
they just
handled as well.
Yeah, they just wanted to get that orb. I don't know that they're fully set on leaning towards A here.
Oh, they're still defaulting in this stage of the round. Just
wow.
Yeah, no corners unturned. I think they may have heard Corrupt jumping up there. Something.
Possibly, yeah.
Didn't want to second guess themselves. Just went for the spam a little bit later on. But Panday, the human drone, taking all that B long space, all that B long control. Cam does see her. She's still hunting for more. This is really good play right now. She only has a Spectre to work with, so even if she drops, it should be enough for enemy team to win the round. And winning that fight.
I mean, that was a hard fight for either of them to win. The Spectre at that distance sucks, and the Classic at that distance sucks. Keep a look at Melia's position. They've got him sandwiched.
No
the Bucky gets 2.
This is so insane.
And now they've got the spike control in hookah. Panda's got so much to do with 20 HP caught. It's all into Supercat now. That nade almost punishes. 13 seconds left. If you're Melia, you're just running away. You don't want to take this fight. You want to stay alive as long as you can. The satchel out, not looking the right way. Melia gets 4, and it's a thrifty round for YFP.
Great job from Melia to just hold hookah that entire time with the Bucky, but another thrifty. Oh my god. It's just heartbreaking, though.
I love that from Elaborate, though, understanding that they had hookah control, and you just kind of have to put your body on the line there.
It's so heartbreaking if you're a fan of Oomfies. They've played this map great so far, but some of these rounds where they basically just throw clear advantages.
Yeah,
it's definitely going to be something that will be in the back of their brains if they don't close this one out. Another entry, though. Side of Oomfies.
The op towards B long with all of the defensive utility, but plenty of noise being made towards A.
Good nade used there to acquire all that showers control. Corrupt. Might try to get a disruption here. 1 TP out, potentially.
Really nice flash. Holy smokes. Very pretty. Now Terror left alone. That's really nice handle to get at least 1, but the 2 remaining guns will stay up. And most importantly, I don't think they ever saw Elaborate's ult. Or op, excuse me. So they don't know that's on the field.
Yeah. Unless it was Scary Shark who went down with it earlier. That could be the case. So we'll have to see how Oomfies approach this. But yeah, that double dip with the second flash, getting that spray transfer, that looked wonderful. Love to see that, especially love to see the confidence coming out of Corrupt, who was kind of quiet on that map too. Obviously had one of the most impressive performances on Deadlock I've seen on Ascent, that first map, dropping 33 and still managing to lose. Tough.
Real tough. You may have been right about the op thing, by the way. Scary Shark off of the Cypher cam.
That is a nice
really nice setup.
Yeah. I love seeing stuff like that.
Avery didn't like seeing that. The rocket's going to connect. It's traded back out. Yes. But when you're up in numbers, you take those 1-for-1 trades any day of the week.
It's this constant disruption that YFP are going to use with this double duelist composition. And then even when they're not disrupting you, all of a sudden you have to deal with paranoia on your post plant. Arrays satcheling out on the retakes and etc. It's the way that YFP make this composition work. It makes it feel like it's not a foreign comp on this map. They make it look so smooth.
Mm-hmm. And it helps when your race is 22-12.
Yeah.
But that's such a cool idea. I love that.
Super nice. The moment you look, even this little set play right here, holding close with a judge while you have a teammate in the back with a rifle, able to secure the second with a showstopper, and then all the meanwhile, what are you going to speed up short into that paranoia? No, you're not going to do that. So what happens instead? You just get spammed through a smoke. Classic.
A light buy here for Oomfies. And again, the need for a thrifty of some sort.
Outlaw against this type of buy, it's proven to just be so beneficial on your side.
They're just, dude, they're just running at them. I mean, Melia was just like holding W. It still kind of is. This time they're pushing into Melia, but there's just a blatant disregard for what's on the other side right now.
It's fully invested into the double duelist. Everyone turns into one.
Yeah.
Spike down A.
Why have 2 duelists when you can have 5? What a shot.
Panda's mechanical prowess is actually insane, but Marceline...
It was crispy.
Yeah, Marceline not slowing down at all, though. That outlaw buy that we've seen all series long, it just pays out dividends for you. It just gives the easiest kills, or so it feels like.
Spike down A.
That's such a nice shot.
So here's what's tough as I think about this entire series, Dre, is every time that it's felt like YFP are running away with it, Oomfies come up with something to bring them right back into the fight. Given that you're facing elimination, Oomfies has to find it now.
And you have 5 ultimates online to do so. But these trips from the side of YFP, they're so deep. Nothing is really that close in the choke. You have the classic, this trip that blocks off the lurk into U-Haul that should get found out, but that sight trip to prevent the wrap back sight, gotta look out for that one. That one might pay out a little bit.
Smoke's down.
The weird
A freeze
thing
in a
here-
situation like this.
And the weird thing here is that hookah line is taken by Nora.
Yep.
I've got your trail.
That's all info being gathered. As we talked about on Ascend and in some degrees on Icebox, not enough misdirection to make him think twice about it. That's a rocket pop. The pit
Satchel out.
dropped. And now the satchel to try to keep him off the plane. And so far, so good. Corrupt waiting. The crosshair just off the mark. And now Terra's going to try to do a little bit more. Succeed on getting the spike down. And now the real game is afoot. You've got Avery, who has their ult, 12 HP, actually falls. Not going to be able to use it this time around as they still have the pit that they have to play around. Still numbers, the way of the defense actually now equalized at 3s apiece. Up in the smoke, Terror. You were right about it. Your suspicions were correct. Handy on the swing. This is going to be a big one. Massive kill out from Terror, but traded back. Marceline with 3 on the round. Looking for the last. And connects. YFP get another, and Dre, that... I hesitate to say it's over because this series has been a mess, but that might be the dagger.
That's such a tough round to lose. That just feels absolutely terrible right now. This is the moment where you call a timeout if you're Oomfies.
Yeah.
But they don't have anybody to do so. They're so invested into this game with everything they have. They're trying to figure out the solutions in real time. Their post plans have not been working at all. And it's been the patient approach of YFP on these retakes. They're really taking their time and kind of converging on angles together. And of course, you had Marceline just run through a Viper's Pit and take out Carry. I mean, that helps for sure. But you should still secure that round. I mean, elaborate being able to just walk into U-Haul and take out 2 players. That should never happen. And now you're...
It was a cool...
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a very cool approach to the beginning of the round for YFP. They sent both the Yoru clone and the Yoru through the TP at the very beginning, but the gate crash was back towards A. So there's just a little bit of misdirection thrown the way of Oomfies. As you have to, as soon as you hear that at the beginning of the round, you go, okay, what was that? Like, what were they just doing?
That's why you
He's really fast on this.
Oh my goodness, what is that from Corrupt? And now another reposition. So now Oomfies has to worry about flank as well, and it's just gonna be a team play retake again, like we've been seeing.
This is a Yoru running amok on this map and just getting away with whatever they want. I don't know that they can find a way back into this, Trey. Carry's doing their best, so 3 kills on the round, leaving into 2v2. Still a shot at this. But you've talked about the retakes and how good they've been. Make that carry with 4. The need for the ace, and they will deliver. The iBuyPower ace as Oomfies stay alive.
Yeah. Carry making up for last round. She dropped in that Viper's Pit to Marceline. This time, I believe it was the first blood on the Marceline, and then securing the last 4 as well. A great answer back from Oomfies. They're not quite out of this one just yet. But the buy is still a little bit scrappy. This last wide swing at the end here on Elaborate was much needed. If you hold an angle like that with 1 HP, it's likely you're just going to fall.
Will reveal their secrets.
Can you keep it up? There is no op and play this time around, but Marceline, again, with the Judge and Showstopper available.
Go get him.
More aggressive trip this time around in short A. Skydog might be able to see this one.
Scout destroyed.
Doesn't.
Plays a little limbo.
I wonder if the audio cue was heard, perhaps.
Time to jump.
I mean, look at that. A fake TP, a clone headed towards showers, an actual TP backside. While Corrupt's playing up close, doesn't get a single kill. Oh, that rocket could have been so good! But Terror with 2 massive kills.
No one's holding the smoke, dog. Oh, it doesn't matter. Shots couldn't connect for Melia, but jeez.
Oomfies, it felt like a round or two too late, but they're fighting back, Dre.
Yeah. What was that shot from Terror as well? Onto Marceline, who popped the Showstopper with the satchel in the air.
I'm hoping we get that on the replay, yeah. That was insane.
Forget the entry on the pocket. But taking out that window of opportunity that Marceline had to even the score. Make it a 3v3 at the very least. The way that was just executed was honestly ridiculous. What a nice shot.
And
what
so
a perfect moment to hit a shot like that. Sorry for cutting you off.
I mean, it was what was needed. It was exactly what was needed at the time, and that's the thing about like big moment players is they deliver. And that's exactly what Terror did. Here's that second shot. I mean, head was just barely popping out of the smoke. Or out of the orb. Look at this. Pop.
Sit down.
This goes here.
And that might, I mean, I hesitate to say this because who knows, but that might just be the spark.
I mean, off of that, you get, what, another Sky ultimate online? You have a Brimstone ultimate online as well that you can play off of, based around that info. And if I'm Oomfies right now, I'm avoiding some of these close range angles. You've had a lot of success walking all the way up B long, all half long. Really, the only time you weren't able to take it was that up play with the cam. But the economy doesn't make it so YFP can invest into that operator, so...
Right.
I would have probably made my approach been like that, but they're going to be going towards A. All 5 players geared up here for the execute.
Really nice
very early on.
That flash is so nice. They clear out the trip, the nade. Off the other way, Corrupt's Judge gets the best of the duelists.
Great trade.
They still have a couple of members on site here. This is not safe.
You still have Brim ultimate you can use as well for the post if you get all the way out. Trips on either side, but they're not deep enough to give you the peace of mind that someone is actually not going to flank.
Carry's on a late flank. Carry's going to be on a late flank through showers. If the timing is right, that could be everything. Carry has to accelerate. Elaborate's already gotten 2. There's Carry striking on a Scary Shark. Avery getting 2.
Player standing.
There's Carry on the last with Melia on the other side. The spam through the smoke connects. Carry gets 3 and we're tied again.
Not only are we tied, but Scary Shark invested the Thrash into that retake, and they didn't convert off of that. That is such a big ultimate to be invested into what was basically a light buy into the round. It really felt like that was a make it or break it moment in this map. Map 3. Nevertheless, it's 11-11. We're tied up. And again, whoever loses this is eliminated. They're done. Year over. The tension has to be immense right now.
Yeah. I mean, the moment could not be bigger. You have to find a way to win here.
What a smart jiggle from Super K to follow up Roomba to clear that line. Playing with fire. Dancing with it, you should say.
More than once.
That trip is not broken, though, so... Oomfies go back towards this A site. Take too long doing so. YFP, knowing that trip is still up, to be confident in playing a heavy stack towards this A. Yeah, you see the lean already coming through on the minimap. Elaborate is going to be here for the actual hit. They're so spread. Marceline, all alone in showers right now.
Destroyed.
See if Oomfies are aware. See if they have any protocols to deal with this.
You've got to know that that's a threat. Any minute might not matter. They might have to worry. They might not have to worry clearing out showers because members are dying on the way. But they managed to get the spike down. They managed to drop the pit too. Melia on the tap. That's got to be enough of a threat to push it. Carries down. So is the pit. Avery's on their own. A 1v3. Marceline's gotten the defuse to half, and that's not going to matter. YFP is going to get to series point.
Oh my gosh, Doug. Everything was looking so promising for Oomfies, but it was Marceline who had all that deep showers info. It gives YFP the peace of mind to focus on one angle only, and that was short A. Melia ended up slipping through that Viper's pit and catching off Carry, who's been absolutely pivotal for Oomfies in this bind map. And just like that, YFP are on match point with what was one of the scrappiest buys they've had all half long. Marceline is looking to get active. Taking things into her own hands. She has to back off, though, because of that early Skydog being used. Doug, this is something that Oomfies hasn't seen yet. This operator inside of Hookah. It's not going to matter because it will be a full front force at A.
What's the play call here? Avery still has all of their smokes. If this is another A pop, Dre, this is going to be so difficult.
Running into a stack, you're running into an Omen flash. Yoru ultimate for info here in showers. This makes it obvious. You have 50 seconds to work with. Are you going to back up? No. You're going to full force forward.
Corrupt? Oh, TP'd back. Elaborate's dead. That's a big one, but it's traded right back. Marceline able to get to make that 3. All 4 fall. Avery's left alone in a 1v3, and she cannot stand anymore. YFP survive.
What an insane ending. Oh my gosh.
Good night, bro.
What was that spray down in showers? We've casted something like that before, Doug.
We need to see that again. What a ridiculous play. They were all funneling out. There was no choice but to hold there.
And it's almost disgusting. It's just disgusting from Marceline. It's poetic as well. She was popping off the whole map. Went kind of quiet there towards the end. But to close it out like that, what a fashion to do so.
A 4K to stay alive. 34 kills on that map.
Oh my goodness.
That's an insane performance. And honestly, that's what you need out of your duelist. Marceline delivered, man.
Oh my gosh. This whole series delivered. It was a back and forth. But yeah, YFP showing why they're a part of the big three.
And they got pushed. They got pushed in a real big way by Oomfies, man.
and they're going to need to clean it up, especially for this next upcoming game against RF.
YFP, they advance. Yes, it feels like they survived more than anything else, but they're still fighting in this tournament. They still have a shot at the big dance in Berlin. We're going to throw it to a break. When we return, the desk will break everything down that we just saw, hopefully without as many dad jokes. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Not think of an absolutely more poetic way to be ending off what was an insane series throughout. 4K on the final round to end things off, 13-11 for YFP and a nail biter of a series. I mean, Athena, do you have any words? Because I'm still a little lost.
Nothing to say here. No, I'm kidding. That was an insane game. For me personally, I'm just happy that the power rankings are now still intact. However, Oomfies, they really put up a show. They fought literally to the very end. They made it so close. And every single player, I felt like, had some sort of performance.
Exactly.
Some sort of clutch round, did their job, did so much with their util and supported the team all around them. And it just was such a fun game to watch, man.
You had everything. It started off with a ninja diffuse going on there with the Cypher, and then from Panday, and then after that you had thrifties and ecos and classics, and then you have exactly players on both sides that did not want to go home after this game. They wanted to continue deeper into this tournament, into Game Changers. So a lot of players stepped up to the plate, so many multi-kills, and like you said, finishing on a multi-kill for the last player, but being a star player as well. Marceline has been popping off throughout the whole series. Maybe a little bit less on Icebox, but as I mentioned before, it's just a comp nature in itself that doesn't allow Marceline to move as freely as she could because of the agent that she was playing on Reyna. But when she was playing basically that Yoru on the first map and this one over here as a Raze, man, did this team look good.
I mean, not to say I told you so, but I told you so that today's going to be exciting. This is what lower bracket is about, man.
You're right,
everyone is fighting for their lives.
I take it back. I wasn't familiar with their game, Game Changers. Sorry. After doing it for so many years, I'm still not familiar with it. I apologize.
That's funny. But yeah, so you can see, actually, I was just thinking about the first kills, and it's actually crazy because it's 13-11, the exact score line. I don't think it necessarily does match up, but it just goes to show that these rounds were so close that whoever got the first kill got the first blood. It normally doesn't matter what happens after that because there were so many times where numbers were lost. People were up numbers, the other team would come back and it would just be kind of over. But it just shows that every single player on each team, they played together. Every single execute was together. A lot of re-lurking, re-flanking, trying to get behind the rest of the enemy team, as well as getting so much information mid-round. Every single round just felt like there was so much kind of depth to it, so much meat to the round that it just was so enjoyable to watch.
That's where the fun comes in for the lower round, but because everyone was pushed to the limits and nobody wanted to lose that. I mean, the aces, the 4Ks, it was just absolutely incredible. But that's where the heartbreak comes in as well, because this was so close through and through. And talking about then the players and the step-ups across the board, I mean, we were talking about that 4K from Celine to close out the series, but Harry from Oompies had this ace at one point. I mean, through and through, everyone really got to show a little bit of what they were about, fans, and it's a little heartbreaking on that aspect.
Yeah, and especially when you're looking at the playstyle for both of these teams, there wasn't too many of those moments where you're trying to leverage extremity control and then go for fast TPs off these rotates. You're doing a lot of contact plays on one end for Oomfies, or just waiting to see if you're going to get spotted, and boom, it's the go button. And so it came down to a lot of that utility more into stalls for the plant, and then playing some very, very, very hectic post-plant scenarios for retakes and for post-plant takes, and that's where those players had to shine. I mean, you mentioned a few players over there, but I think Avery deserves a shout out as well on how they were able to pop off on the attack side, and on the defensive side first, cool down a bit on the attack side at the beginning, but then at the very end, a couple of multi-kills to try to keep the dream alive there for Oomfies, but unfortunately, just wasn't enough because there's always still that extra player, because Oomfies unfortunately didn't trade enough going into these sites.
Speaking of players popping off, I was gonna say popping off, 386 ACS on Marceline. And the game was so close. It's not like this was a blowout. It's not like this was just like a 13-1 situation. 386 ACS. That means that every single round, Marceline had some sort of crazy impact. On top of that, 34 kills in this game is insane. Multi-frag after multi-frag. Just a huge props to Marceline and every single person on this team. We've mentioned this a million times at this point, but everyone played their part and did their job. So many multi-frags, so many clutches, so many good uses of util that it was just so crazy.
It was just through and through. Being able to see this step up from Marceline was incredible. So I'm so happy to have Marceline on the line for a Verizon post-match interview to talk a little bit more after this absolutely crazy series. Like, my first question, has your heart rate gone down? Is it still crazy? The 4K on the final round to close out the series. Like, how are you feeling after that?
Sorry, first of all, a little confusion. I'm not Marceline.
Oh wait, I didn't even look at the name. Yeah, they didn't tell me. Yo, I was just, oh my goodness. I was just like, Ingrid, all right, sorry, elaborate. Hello, first off, what's up? I need to learn how to read. How are you feeling after the series? My question still stands, because that was just crazy.
My heart is pounding. And like, speaking of that last round, I was watching that whole round play out. Oh my god, Wavy is the GOAT.
It was, oh my goodness. I mean, through and through throughout the series, we really did get to see a step up from everybody on the team. This series was so incredibly close for something that we thought originally going into it might have been a little bit more favored for YFP. And I mean, Oomfies really pushed you all to the limit. So I want to know, going into the series, what were your guys' expectations as well going into this? If you thought it was going to be as close, or?
I mean, our expectation wasn't like the stomp or anything. We knew that we could easily probably take the series. But we did a lot of prep and making sure that we were like ready for no matter what they threw at us. And they actually challenged us, so that was a fun series to play against.
I mean, I wanted to talk about the prep going into this and talk about that very first map, because when y'all played up against Shopify Rebellion, it was awesome to see that you took a map off, and then all of a sudden this ascent, it kind of went a little haywire after that, right? And we got to see a really big switch up today that almost like really played off. Like, it was really, really close. So I want to know if that was something that was in the works, or if the prep was, hey, we need to 360 a new comp up instantly, because what we have ain't working.
It wasn't really comp, it was more of just like actually setting in stone like strats and stuff, and like nailing down how we should be playing the comp that we've been playing. We did have to do some like, you know, mental resets, obviously, because of our performance yesterday, and then that unfortunate first map. But I mean, once we recollected ourselves, we basically knew.
That's great to hear, especially being able to bounce back in a really, really tense series, because lower bracket, this is a oof. I want to know then too, when you're talking about the mental reset, if you could share with me kind of what you think is one of those hurdles that you all had to be overcoming, because it was something that it looked like, especially in the attacking ends, that there was a little bit of struggles at points.
Yeah, I mean, it's just coming down to like our comms, I think, mostly, and like cleaning those up. And I mean, we definitely have, I guess we really can start steamrolling once our vibes are actually going. And so like once we start losing a few rounds, it's kind of hard. But as soon as like we start feeling it again, and we can just start right again, you know, like as if we never left.
Marceline gets a 4K, and then all of a sudden the vibe
casually
again in the whole team. Yeah, just a casual 4K.
Yeah.
I want to know then too, being able to pick up such a close series and go on forward, you now have a date with Free Frag up for lower round 3. How you're feeling going into this matchup and trying to take the rest of this bracket by storm as well?
Again, another series, we don't expect to just stomp, so we will be preparing for that. But I mean, we are definitely ready. Like we can definitely take that and be a top 3 team. Like I think analysts have pointed out, is like we're in that top 3 kind of spot.
I mean, we're all talking about the top 3, and definitely showed it today. But what about that top 2 number 1 spot? Because when we're looking at the championship qualifications for Berlin, how to win the whole thing?
No, for sure. I mean, our focus is winning the entire thing, for sure. We definitely believe we can. I mean, we took a map off of Shopify, so, like, we can do it.
I'm glad to see that belief is there, and that, hey, when the vibes are good, this team can do anything. So, best of luck going on for tomorrow. Elaborate, thank you so much for chatting with me. Have a good rest of your night. You all deserve the rest.
Thank you.
As for us, no rest for our analysts. We're going right back over to the desk. It was such a crazy series, but it's good to hear too, like, okay, we know that there's a couple of things, but once we get the vibes going, Athena, things are good, and they're able to close out. It was close, but they're able to close out strong.
I mean, it really sounds like they have that really good kind of friendship mentality where the comms are up, vibes are up, you kind of perform. And that's definitely the best case scenario you want, especially if you're in such an intense game like that. Just being able to keep up your comms, regardless if they get a little bit hectic, but keeping up the vibes especially is like one of the most important things. That mental game, the mental fortitude to have going into this is definitely the reason why they managed to push forward. And that's kind of what you have to expect when you're in the lower bracket too. So really good props to them.
Yeah, and just to chime on to what Elaborate was saying before too, is they have that confidence as a team right now, knowing that they have what it takes because they're able to take a map away from Shopify Rebellion. When you're looking at how you're playing that bracket, you're always coming into the underdog matchup as the underdog against the Shopify, against the FlyQuest. This time tonight, you're actually the overdog to play against your opponents in Oomfies, and you almost lost it, right? But you held that tenacity. So right now for YFP, you kind of had a little bit of a taste of everything going into this bracket, and you're able to surpass a lot of those checkboxes and those milestones, rather, as a team. team. So I think this is a great turning point right now for YFP to get that confidence, and maybe with a rematch against FlyQuest, it might turn in their favor if they're able to play the way that they have been against Umphys tonight.
And I think it's just crazy that both these teams on our power rankings, these are the 3rd and 4th teams. So ideally, these teams are extremely close at play level, mechanic level, skill level. Every single part of both these teams are going to be super, super important. If you thought today was going to be a blast, then boy, we have a treat for you when YFP play RF. I think that game is going to be an insane banger. Yo, don't you're in for a treat me, okay? Don't bring that back. But yeah, it's going to be a really, really wild game. And then Fly versus Shopify 2. I feel like for me, I'm always going to be a little bit more biased towards Shopify. They are our NA champions from last year. So I have that sort of prediction going. But again, FlyQuest, they've been putting up a really good show all year. They've won some of the qualifiers. They've been this kind of team that's been building upon their foundations and just learning from their mistakes. So this is really anyone's game. This top 4 is probably going to be the deadliest top 4 we've had in GC for a while.
And this FlyQuest team is the one that has challenged Shopify Rebellion the most, and in some points should have been taking these series. So I think it'll be a real testament to what they've learned, their growth, and Shopify Rebellion. I mean, holding that title as the Titan. So it'll be exciting tomorrow. Yeah. We'll find out who's going to be one of the teams in the grand finals, who's going to have an opportunity to play again in the lowers. But that is unfortunately it from us today. Thank you all so much for tuning in, dealing with all of the jokes, and enjoying some awesome Valorant. Make sure to be coming back in tomorrow. Oh, and also thanks for production for dealing with us. But yeah, make sure to be coming back tomorrow. It'll be some great Valorant action. We'll see you tomorrow for the Verizon Game Changer.
I want you to see.